Now, how many meetings have you been in lately that completely went off the rails somehow? And where at the end of the 30 minutes, you really wonder, what did we even talk about? And suddenly time was up. And I'm here to share how we can avoid that. Meetings get off the rails all the time. And there's a specific pattern that I observed that I would like to talk about today. So welcome, my name is Mike. I run IntelliCoach, and welcome to Lightbulb Moments, a regular tidbit of learning for just 10 minutes, just randomly sprinkled into your day here, where I pick a topic or an element of our professional coaching skills courses and teach that for free. And I think once you stay with this series of sessions over time, you will gain quite a solid coaching skill set. The interesting thing is that coaching skills translate directly to running better meetings. Why? Many times we go into a call, we go into a meeting, and we start by stating a topic, hopefully clearly. And it could go like this, and you come together and say, so this is about the next milestone for our project, isn't it? So let's get started. And suddenly person one jumps up and shares, yes, I have an update to make, and there's something happened last week, and the conversation starts. Things went straight from a shared topic statement into detail. Sometimes we may not even do that. We may come together and right away, people sit down, doors closed. So let's fix this now. Let's get started. So what happened last week? Pop. We go straight to detail. That overlooks something really important. By solving that, we might actually take away a lot of value from that. What makes a lot of change and difference is that we actually take a moment and agree not just on the topic, but also on the goal of the conversation. And that sounds so commonsensical, but it's rarely practiced. So what would need to happen is, if you hear someone, the door's closed and the meeting has started, and you start talking, and you want to hold people, say, hey, stop, before we go into detail, what exactly do we need to get out of our meeting here today? And that's often a wow moment. And that comes typically from people with more established and practiced strategic thinking. And also, number two, from people with more executive presence. Because they notice they're not just contributing on the detail of the meeting, but also on how the meeting flows. We want to notice that. So next time when you come into a meeting and somebody jumps right into the beginning, pause them for a moment and say, hey, we have only 10 minutes. Want to make exactly sure, what do we need to get out of these 10 minutes? Right? That makes a big difference. And if you feel that this will derail the session more, we can even invite conciseness that way. We can invite conciseness, for example, the specific goals. Before we get started here and talk about our milestone, what's the number one thing we must achieve to make this meeting a success? And I can tell you how often I land in situations where then a bit of sharing starts and you realize nobody is in sync here. People are completely off the rails. And that is not a bad thing necessarily, because otherwise you would have just jumped into details, started discussing, and you don't even know what you're talking about. So there is a lot of people get this really wrong, and they jump right away from the topic that's shared into the detail, or they just assume the topic and we jump right into the detail. So what's the best practice here? What's the best practice? There's multiple steps. I'll share that here in a visual format. Number one is, yes, clarify. I'll write this out here. I cannot write today. Clarify the topic. And then, but then it's followed up by clarifying the goal of the conversation. And that's so counterintuitive. What do we need to actually get to here right now? And that sharpens things. It breaks down often confusing, wobbly cloud number of topics into something precise that can be tackled right now. And we can then follow this up by something also powerful. We can ask about the measure of success. And for example, if we talk about, okay, so we talk about the next KPI milestone. What should be then the goal of the conversation? Oh, yeah, we need to define our deliverables and update our RACI so we know who's responsible for what until next week. Whoa, now that's a great level of detail. And then before we even go in, you can still ask one more question and ask, so what exactly do we have then by the end of this meeting? An email deliverable, or are we updating our comment tracker? What exactly? That brings us to deliverable level. Deliverable level. And that's powerful because it creates so much clarity. And once you have that, likely what follows, it's much faster because everybody aligns. There's actually now then another bonus that we can add to this, and that's especially important from a professional coaching skill perspective. There's a bonus thing we can do, and that is the meaning of the goal. So when, for example, we agree, yeah, in this meeting, let's talk about our stakeholder list. I think we really need to update it. And you will look at the other meeting participants and ask, okay, what makes it important to do that right now, that stakeholder list? And the other person looks at you and thinks, I think we'll avoid some crazy conflict next time. I think we need to really run this differently. What you hear in that moment is a connection to emotion. When you inquire about the meaning of a conversation goal that you agreed on, you get to something deeper. We don't always have to do this, by the way. Not every time. If you have a 5-minute conversation, just stay here and just clarify. I really have a problem with that word. Clarify the topic and clarify the goal of the conversation. That only needs to take 30 seconds or 45 seconds, unless, of course, there's disagreement. Right? So, but if you have an hour-long meeting or 45-minute meeting, or I would argue even a 30-minute meeting, I would go to that level of detail and I would ask, what exactly do we need to get from this meeting? It brings you to deliverable level. And you can see here, this is from wobbly to pretty precise to sharp. And that's how you use coaching skills. And what we're doing here is the exact skill that professional level coaches use in many conversations, how to help clients, coachees, be clear about what they want to talk about in a session. Coaching is a very sharp technique. It's not just, hey, what do you want to talk about? And then the conversation just flows all over the place. No, coaching is very sharp. You ask your client, what exactly is our topic today? Your client says, delegation. I struggle. Okay, what exactly do you want to then address in terms of delegation today? I say, I want to know how I can delegate to this new team member. I simply haven't found a way to start. Oh, okay, so it's about starting to delegate with this new team member. So what exactly do you want to have by the end of this session? I want to have 2-3 ideas. I want to know what holds me back. I want to have some ideas and some talking points for my next one-on-one next week. Awesome. Now we have a well-structured goal. And that's how coaching works. That's exactly what we also teach in our professional level coaching skills courses in IntelliCoach Pro, where we help leaders not just to stay at this level here, just to talk about, hey, what do you want to talk about today? That's not good enough. We want to get to a level of clarity on the goal of the conversation, even to the measure of success of the meeting. What deliverable is it? And when it's really a coaching conversation, let's talk about why is it important to talk about that particular thing here today. So take it away. I hope you found this interesting. So when you avoiding staying shallow and only at the topic level, explicit or implicit, you'll have a big impact in, I would say, any meeting out there that involves people. Yeah. I wish you all the best. This was Mike on Wednesday. Today is the 26th of March in the afternoon, sending you warm, hot greetings from Singapore as always. Wish you well. This is Mike. All the best, and hopefully enjoy your focused meetings going forward.